Hi there, welcome back to Starmade. Today we're going to be talking about how to start out your first few minutes in Starmade. So first you're going to want to go to local play, because normally before you start online play, you're going to want to have a few blueprints at the ready, so you're not spending so much time on the server trying to get somewhere when all the rest of the server is progressing and you're still behind. So you're going to want to start out with local play. Now you can either start out making your own creative world or starting out your own survival world. Today I'm going to show you how to set up your own survival world. So since you're not doing in creative mode, you can turn the creative inventory off. You can modify your game difficulty, toggle on or off if you want tutorials or not, but since this is a tutorial, I'm just going to leave the tutorials off. In advanced settings, you can end up modifying how the AI will work, how your fleets will work, how the asteroids work, how your blueprints work, how most of everything that is in the game, you can toggle how it is, set the amount of sizes to things, and set how things are going to be working. With NPCs, you can end up setting how many factions you want at minimum or maximum, or just have a random preset. So we're just going to go for any amount, don't care. And so with asteroids, we have different dynamical physics. You can have accidentally bumping an asteroid and it starts flying into space, and so that gets interesting. Then you have also different sizes. If you're going on to a server, most of your network preferences, and where most of your features of the game would be held here. So we're just going to focus on the universe. We're going to be creating a new one, and we're just going to call this tutorial. I already got something. Alright. And so we're just going to call this new world. And then we're not going to put anything in here just because we're going to assume that you don't have anything. So we're going to click our new world. Going to click play. And I'll be back when the loading screen finishes. Then note, it does take a while for NPC assets due to it's the first time this is happening. Alright, now that you're actually in the game itself, you come up to the menu as you start flying around through space and circling things, and so every time you start a game, you're going to be greeted and started at a shop in the Trade Federation territory. So we can show you this. We are currently within the Trade Federation's territory. So as we can see, this would be the Trade Federations. In colors, I want to say this is, I don't know exactly for sure at this time. So we have scavengers and we have the outcasts as well. Don't know the difference between which one would be which on our map, because I personally have never went to go see them. I've mostly just only dealt with the Trade Federation and pirates. And your later episode will cover all the different NPCs that are currently in-game. Some things that you're going to want to make sure you're aware of. This isn't called an undetonator. You can walk up to this, click R, and you set your spawn point. That way, so if you just happen to die, you will spawn right back at this point in the game. That way, so you're always near a shop, so you can just get right back to where you were. Or what we're going to do, since you can see up here, this would mean that we're nearby a shop, and we can click this as a button. I have mine currently bound to B. Yours might be as well, probably is. And that allows you to access the shop. And so, this would end up being the shop menu. You start out with 50,000 credits. And this would show how much the store has, which faction it's owned by, how much cargo space is inside the store. Normally, your first starting location has a ton of stuff. Now, granted, as well, when you go on a server, it might not have the same amount of stuff. So I'm going to first discuss the 3 different playstyles I personally have viewed. Playstyle 1, you don't have any blueprints at all, and you're starting completely brand new. This is the one I'll be showing you today. Playstyle 2, you can use a blueprint and either with Playstyle 2, you have blueprints, but it is completely reliant on what items you are given at the start of the game. In Playstyle 3, you also incorporate what things you have in the shop. This is the one I personally use due to a few other aspects of I know how to get a hold of more materials. So say I go and buy a few things here in the shop and they don't have enough. So say I wanted like 700 thrusters. The shop only has 668. So I would be at mercy of the shop to make sure that I have so many thruster modules. Yet, seeing as how this one doesn't have all that many, then I wouldn't be able to spawn in the ship. So, because I know crafting, which was displayed in the last video, I could go over to some asteroids, displayed in 2 episodes ago. I could go over to those asteroids, get the materials, refine them on an asteroid, and I can get the materials. But either way, regardless, we're going to be showing you how to start out from stage 1. So depending on your controls, well, you're going to click the button that's bound to spawn in a ship, or a ship core. From here, you can name it, and then now you have a singular ship core. From here, you can, and more of the time, click R, and be able to get into it. Now you're in build mode. You can have placing blocks on here, and then you can end up clicking one of your buttons, and you could go into flight mode, depending on which one you have. And so, because of how it's all set up, you can see this arrow up the top. The way it's pointing and facing is the front of your ship. Same thing with the blocks. Inside the blocks, you can end up seeing there's the arrow again as well. So it'll show you which way it's facing in the block. And so say we want to rotate it. Here, we can rotate it, and it faces different directions, depending on which way is the front of the block. So we're going to start out by building a small mining vessel. You're going to want to start out by having a salvaging computer, a few salvage modules. Now, say you wanted to build on this side and this side at the same time. That's where symmetry planes come in. So we can find our symmetry plane, place it, and now whatever's on this side of the red will also be on this side of the red as well. So if we place here, we're going to have it on both sides. Same thing with at the different planes. Now I have it on all 4. And note, the spot where it comes out at is on this side and this side, because it mirrors directly in relation to what you have. So we're going to place down a few salvaging modules. So if you want to change the size of how you build, so say I wanted so many blocks to be built at once, you can change the size of your brush. So as we can see, we have 10 blocks and 10 blocks. So this is a very large salvaging beam. We don't want it that big. So we can end up removing them, and we can place a few more. So now we can end up placing it out, and we're just going to build a few more. There we go. So that seems like a decent size for a starting vessel. Additionally, we're going to need some power. I'll cover in a larger depth on its own video how the power system works, but for now, you'll need to just find out how much is this going to take. So we're going to open up our systems menu. Again, for any controls, just hit go to escape, hit your options, go to controls, keyboard, and you'll see all different controls that you have for your game. I have rebound all of mine, so at this point it's not going to be helpful for me to teach you controls. So you're going to hit your system computing, and you're going to find out how much does this take. So salvage system collective, we have one salvage system, and it's going to take 500 power to charge and 100 at rest. So our goal is to get 500 power per second. And so now when we hit the advanced build mode, mainly by holding control, we can click structures, and let's see what our power is. So if I end up placing one here, we can end up seeing the size of our reactor, how many blocks we have in it, what level our reactor is, how many blocks we need to get to the next level, how many hit points we have, and is it stabilized, and is it efficient. By adding these stabilizers, we can stabilize it better, and we get better efficiency. But this starts out by at a certain level of a reactor, things like level 0 reactors, as noted by here in our level here, you don't need to have any stabilizers. Once you get into higher areas, you'll need stabilizers. But this is all for another video. So what we'll do is we go into stats and power. So we can see our consumption is currently 220%. Not a good thing. So we can see our recharge as 100. And remember, we needed in salvage, we need 500 per second. So what we're going to need is we're going to need to boost this up. So now we can see 200 per second, 300, 400, and 500. So because we have 5 modules, and we need 5 modules to get this running. So currently we have our recharge at 600, but we can place that 500. If we decide to put storage on here, we're going to need more. So for just general purposes, we're going to put more, because it's always better to have more recharge than you have to not have recharge. Let's go and find out how large our reactor is. Still 6. Since we have not increased to level 1 yet, we still have 100% efficiency. And so now we can place down thrust, and we have movement speed. So with thrust, we want a thrust to mass ratio of 2.5. That's the maximum amount there is. So currently, this ship is fully ready to go. Yet, if it gets attacked right now, it'd be absolutely destroyed. So we want to place some shields on it. Currently, we don't have very many shields right now. Any Izanth or pirate will utterly destroy this thing. And so, with shields, we don't have anything on yet. For the shield capacitor, that's what's going to allow for a giant buffer of storage for our shields. For the shield reactor, this is where the shield will emanate from. So all of our shields will come from this one recharge bank. And then by increasing that, we end up increasing how much the shields will recharge. So you really only need to have one shield recharger currently active. We're going to turn off our symmetry planes for now. We're just going to place, say, 2 shield rechargers. As you can see what this bubble is, this is the area that is currently covered in shields by our shield. So say we start building out past this block and out over into here, that block would not be protected by shields. So if something were to hit a block way out here, it would not be protected, and it'd be destroyed before it starts digging into the shield capacity. Now that we have some shields being currently recharged, we can put down some shield capacity. So as we can see, we currently have a capacity that's going up, and here's our maximum capacity. That's what it is right now. That's what we can. And we're recharging only 50 a second. So we're going to want to place down more rechargers to get this to go a bit faster. So now we can see 75 recharge per second, 100 recharge per second. So now it should only take about, say, 12 seconds to fully recharge. As you can see, 500. And so this is okay for a starting vessel. We don't need anything bigger. Now say if you wanted to cover in lots amounts of hull, we can, but as of right now, we only need a small amount for what we're going to apply next. And so, now that we have all our basic components, we don't really need anything more. But let's say you want to go just a little bit crazy with your speed, and you want to get into your chambers. Sure, you can place down a chamber and put down an individual chamber. Now, if we were to click on it, we can see what the capability is of it. All of this will be covered in a separate video. This is to show you how to get started. Currently, we have a size of 1, and our minimum size requirement is 0, because our reactor is of level 0. We currently do not have 10 blocks. We're 6 out of 10 blocks, so we do not have enough reactor to go to a level 1, meaning this 1 block is good enough for this reactor. We can change up and get top movement speed. So now we can level it up to 3 times, and we've only used a certain amount of our capacity, which is great. Each reactor can hold up to only 100% reactor, and this will use a 10% per level. So at level 1, it's only using 5%, level 2, 15%, and 3. Alright, so either way, it will show you how much. So now that we have a top speed of level 3, we have a much faster. Let's see, max speed 360, and so say if we wanted to revert, our max speed is 225. We'll go back and select that so we can go to higher speeds, level us up. Now we can go to max speed 360. That's how you increase your speed and make your ships go faster. So now at this point, we don't need anything more. Our thrust to mass ratio is 2.5. We have some shields that are currently at an acceptable rate of recharge. Our power is just fine. We have a buffer currently, and our stabilization is currently maxed out or to an acceptable level. Currently, the ship does not have any weapons, but this is a salvaging vessel. We don't need weapons on it. But we do need is we're going to need some storage on this vessel. So currently, as we can see, all of our salvaging beams are connected to the computer. That's a great thing. So now, if we go into the shop, more than likely, we're going to want to get a hold of some storage, because that just makes things easier. We don't need it, but it's nice to have on the ship. So we just get one of these. Let's see how much we want to store. So each storage here will hold 100 mass, and then each cargo will hold an additional 100 mass. So 1, 2, and 3, and then 6, and if we want, we can have 12. So we have a space for an additional 12. So in cargo space, by amount, 12. Now we have everything we're going to need. So we have our cargo space. We go to the underside where our computer should be. Oh, alright then. So C, and then we place down our storage for V. Now our computer is linked, our salvage computer is linked to the storage, meaning whatever these salvage modules mine, it goes directly into the storage now. If we click C on our storage, and we boot up our access planes, now we can place down our cargo, and they're already linked to our salvage computer. So now our vessel is currently ready to go. I'll be back after putting some armor on it. Alright, and something to show you about this, whenever you scroll up to around here, you can end up getting all of the different types that you get. So we're just going to place a few of these here. So this is our current small starting vessel that we're going to use for this small tutorial. So we have all of our stuff set up. We're all ready to go. And now let's just go get some more cash. Because we have all these blocks just currently sitting there, let's put all of our blocks in and sell them. Sell our conduits. Start in the mobility chamber. Don't need any more thrust. Our salvage computer, we don't need that. Don't need that extra recharge. Now our stabilizers and our power if we go onto an asteroid or a planet and we go to start building things and we start doing factory creation, we're going to need these. So we're just going to keep these in our inventory. Let's go and get a build block going, so that way when we land somewhere, we're ready for it. Now say if you were playing on a multiplayer server, you would want to get a faction module going. If you feel comfortable with playing like that, and you're comfortable with how you are already, I personally would wait a while longer into the game, because pirates will tend to target you if you are in a faction, or other players on the faction are set to automatically turn into an enemy. And so we're currently ready to go in our small vessel. We can go into flight mode. Now, this is just fine as a viewing screen. If you personally want to look a different way, then you can end up scrolling out and go into a third-person view. This is just fine. Yet, this is also just fine as well. But you could also, in the shop, get a camera and replace yourself completely, which, again, is all fine, depending on how you want to play it. This is just for a small baseline of what to get. So we currently started out with only 50,000 credits, but we built our ship, and we didn't need all that much, and so we ended up making more money by not buying things, and not getting a whole lot of different things as well. So if we wanted, we can go straight into making a shipyard with this kind of money, but we can also just craft up a shipyard as well. And thanks to this, we can also use that money to just go straight into a space station. So we can use that, go directly. Now, something that's nice, since we have a cargo capacity here, we'll set an inventory name, say storage. Doesn't matter what it is, it just needs a name. Now, when we go to our giant wheel, we can go to the ship, we can go to cargo, and it pulls it up for us while we are currently in the ship. So that's just a small, quick thing to get things a lot speedier. So now our goal is we need to go find some asteroids and get some small amount of things going here. We're going to open up our navigation. We can see our current ship, a system mining fleet from the Trade Federation, the shop, but no asteroids in the area. Let's make sure that in our filter, asteroids are currently available. So we can see asteroids, shops, stations, planets, and ships. That's all fine. We don't need anything else. So currently we have to go out into the map and see where we are. We are currently just down here. So let's move over a few blocks and let's plot path. So we can plot path to say we want to go here. We can center on our own position and it pulls us right back. And we can also filter out of what we see. So we want to see everything in this view, so everything's available. Faction territory by relation. So that's just going to be changing all the colors to, is it enemy territory, or is it neutral territory, or friendly territory? Wormholes, we can see those. That would be these black spots here. The planetary orbits, we'd first have to see what it is. So that'd be the, I want to say the purple rings, asteroid belts, the yellow rings, orbital sectors. Don't know at this point. Either way, we can end up seeing also warp gates, but what we're concerned with is we need to find asteroids. So, now that we've plotted our path, we have, if it's out of our view, it'd be this triangle right here saying, hey, go look in that direction. And so now we have our waypoint set, and we can start accelerating towards that location. I'll be back when I first find some asteroids. Alright, so I found a location that has asteroids by looking in the navigation menu, and here's a few asteroids. As we know, Random Searches, Highlight Hotel. So we're on the outer fringes right now. And so we'll look at their mass. It doesn't really matter all that much, but it'd be nice to just get a few ships. So we have some white asteroids and blue asteroids. So we'll just go for this small blue one over here, and more than likely we're gonna have to go to all of them at some point. So we might as well just hit up most of them. So our goal in a starting salvager is not to eat the entire asteroid. Contradiction to what you should be doing, which is eating the whole asteroid, but it'll take you far longer to eat the whole thing than it would be if you just didn't bother with it. So your goal is to spot check the asteroid for materials. So like with here, we can see the material, but we don't have our salvage computer out yet. So we'll pull up our menu with, I believe it's still G, and we'll just drag our salvage computer down, and we're going to open things up, and we're going to start eating the asteroid. Now if we start moving, you can see we start going into the red, just for a small moment of time as we're moving, or accelerating our speed. So just don't really bother with that. So currently, thanks to having the mining fleet in the area as well, we are currently under more loading, and they're going to also eat these asteroids. But to be fair as well, we are in their territory, they are not in our territory. We are in the Trade Federation space. Oh, okay. And here comes the lag. Alright. Yep, looks like they started mining. So if we go and start taking a look, yep, they are starting to look at our asteroids that we're at. Oh, that's a good reason why there's lag. There's 3 of them colliding with each other at the same point. That's not good. Alright. So our game's going to be just a little bit laggy right now due to how things are going. In future updates, as I've noted, it just shouldn't be like this more often. So currently, we've spot checked this relatively good. We've gotten a few. So we'll take a look at our cargo space. We have at least 200 of both of these, at least. So it's time to move on to the next one, because we're not going to need like 1,000 or something. That's for if we have a decent sized salvager. Now we're going to take a look at this rock, and so far we haven't found anything with more than 1,000 mass, which is pretty nice. And so say we want to be a lot more thorough instead of just all spread out, we can change up our mining mode and be a lot more exact as to what we're mining away, and we can mine away a bit more efficiently. And if you have a large array and they're all decently sized, yet these are not decently sized, so it's kind of nice for us to just get into a small mining array and just spot check it. And so we can go a lot faster with spot checking using this mining method than if we were to, say, change up our mining and go to the larger array. I'll end up doing a tutorial on just salvagers at some point, showing you the individual components of how salvagers work and what's the most efficient ways of doing things. So now we can check up and see, alright, we have a far more of these than we do of those. So we might just feel like going back to the other asteroid, grabbing a few more, and start heading out. And going and finding some more asteroids. So you probably don't want to see eating asteroids a whole lot. So I'll come back and just do a small snippet of all the other asteroids. Alright, now that we've reached the next asteroid in the area, additionally there's another thing to bring up about what just recently happened. So we've qualified for that manual scan. So in here we can see 0 out of 15 sectors, or so it's unexplored. We've reached, apparently, that 15 sectors, and so everything's currently fine, and we can see where everything is. So, as we plot the course, we're going to want to go out to here, over towards some more, the rings of a planet. So planetary orbit are the purples, asteroid belts are the yellow, orbital sectors, that's stuff that would be in orbit. So you could see where all the sectors that are touching the orbit. And so it's relatively nice here. We can see that we have a few system mining fleets in the same territory that we're in. So we're just going to plot path there, and we're just going to hope to eat up a few more asteroids here. Now, the reason why this area is a bit more densely populated with mining fleets from the Trade Federation is due to, 1, it's their territory, and 2, they also just so happen to be in the same, we just happen to be in the same area as their home base sector. Or quadrant, just, this is where their home base is, and so they're going to be a lot more active here than anywhere else in their area. So we kind of end up spawning in a generally more of a nuisance place to be. So we have 500 and 200 of this one, so we'll just look to get about maybe 500 of the shard for each time. Alright, and so we're going to just do some more spot checking, and we'll be back at the next asteroid. Alright, so now we've reached towards the inner areas, and we're currently set up to mine out the one with Bastion and the one with Certes. No. Bastion and Matisse. And also Synthar with some Threns, and yep, we got a few asteroids in the area. We're just going to mine out a few things, grab a few things, and get ready to go. The Bastion with Fertkeen, that one's going to be containing the most resource that we're going to want to get. So the Fertkeen, we're going to want it to get at least about, say, 2,000 would be a good number. Alright, I feel like we've reached a good amount of Fertkeen now, after mining quite a bit of things out. So let's take a look at what we have around us. Ooh, that's a nice one out there, so we'll go to that pretty soon. Oh, and it's right here as well. We're going to get the Matisse and Jesper, then we're going to get some Synthar and Threns, and we'll should be close to ready. Oh, and as you can see, warning, heat from the sun. We need to back up quite a bit. We're too close. So it's telling us we're going to start taking damage and stuff otherwise. So we're going to want to back away. Alright. So now let's see if we can just get generally close enough. Hopefully, because we have some shields on us, we should be okay to mine around here. We'll just try and get a few things. Alright. And so, after getting both those two asteroids, or attempting to get both of those two, I'll be right back. Alright, now we got some Varat going. And after this, all we have left to find is the Noctimascent asteroid. Alright, it's at this point that things are going pretty well. You have just about all the resources in the game, and you have a decent, considerable amount of them. As you can see, we only did about 500 mass, and so we can easily fit 500 in our 2,000 mass, which actually our storage capacity in our player has more than our ship right now. Interesting thing to think of, reason why you did not need to put this on there, yet you could, but you didn't need to. So now, the next stage is up to you. You can either go to a planet, or you can just go to a random asteroid, preferably not in faction-owned territory, like over here or something, or like over here. more likely you'd be over here or something. So more likely you'd be going to like over here or something and finding what area you want to be, yet you would have to travel a nice considerably long distance. Reason why, you have a jump drive. You hold it down, it charges up, and you can go. So you can either go to a planet at this point, go to a new area and build on a asteroid, or go to a new area and build a space station. Either of those options are fine, but your goal now is to start manufacturing and building your own ships. And once you have your own stuff, you can get more asteroids, and then you're going to need to start defending your area, because you're going to want to get to a space station eventually, because asteroids are unreliable, and they're only temporary. Your goal right now is to get a temporary factory set up, so that you can start making bigger and better salvager ships. So then you can eventually get more defending ships. But as of right now, I'm going to end the video here. This is how you end up getting to start in Starmade. You're currently set up with a lot of resources of all the different types. You currently have a small salvaging vessel, so that if you need to go spot check more places, like other asteroids, you can, and you can build off of this, or you can just straight up build something new, bigger, and better. But your goal is to get bigger, better salvagers, get better factories running, get eventually to a space station at some point, and build some defending ships. This is how you get started in Starmade. Have a nice day.